T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go up.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Chamber pressure is nominal.
T plus 30 seconds, and Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center. We're carrying the two O3b mPOWER satellites. We've heard the initial call out. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal, and the Falcon 9 is beginning the pitch downrange.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Avionics confirms power and telemetry coming from the second stage are nominal on Falcon 9. We're into the throttle bucket
Falcon
right
9
now.
is supersonic.
We've heard the call. We're supersonic. And engines have throttled back up as we're coming
Max
through
Q.
the period of maximum dynamic pressure. Guidance officer calls out max Q, confirming we're through the period of greatest stress. 9 Merlin engines running at full power. Now on your screen you can see on the left the speed and the altitude of the first stage. Stage separation will occur at about 8,200 kilometers per hour. And in order to get into the initial orbit, what we call the parking orbit, the Falcon 9 has to gain enough speed to reach about 27,000 kilometers per hour. That's a bit under the 17,000 miles per hour used as a rule of thumb for the low Earth orbit velocity. Now we've got several events coming up in about half a minute. We're going to have main engine cutoff. Then a few seconds later we get stage separation. And then the second stage engine start number 1 called SES-1. During main engine cutoff, we're going to shut down the 9 Merlin engines, then we'll get the stage separation. And once we're separated, take a look. In the daylight, you should be able to see the view of the first stage as we begin a slow flip to orient the first stage back towards Earth, while simultaneously the MBAC engine on the second stage will ignite for the first time.
Miko. Stage separation confirmed. Evacuation.
We've heard it and seen it. We've got successful main engine cutoff, stage separation, ignition of the second stage engine. Nice views late in the afternoon as we're leaving Florida, and maybe even a little bit of the contrail visible in the distance behind the second stage nozzle. And on the left side, you can see the first stage. Coming up now is fairing separation, about 5 seconds.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Well, we saw in the background the fairing separate. As we had mentioned at the start of the webcast, the payload adapter we use for the mPOWER satellites blocks the view of the camera, which is one reason the webcast will be ending once the first stage lands and the second stage gets into its parking orbit.
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
GNC with the right call out, we're on nominal trajectory. We're coming up on 4 minutes into today's mission. We've got MVAC engine shutdown.
Nominal parking orbit.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And both callouts right on time. Guidance reports a nominal parking orbit for the second stage. The first stage has begun the landing burn. Headed to the drone ship on the power of the center engine E9.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
All right, and we have touchdown of formerly new booster on the drone ship out in the Atlantic. So there you have it. that landing marks SpaceX's 385th recovery of an orbital class rocket. That includes first stage landings for both Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Meanwhile, the second stage, there's a great view, and I think in the distance you can see a little bit of the contrail in the upper atmosphere as we headed east out of the Cape just before sunset. And so we're watching the last glow of the sun as the second stage heads eastward into the shadow of the Earth. So second stage embarking now on the initial coast phase. The view you're seeing there, that's the payload adapter. The mPOWER spacecraft are just on top, but they're hidden from view. And so with that, we're not expecting to have great views of payload deploy, and we're going to end the webcast at this point.